Why are you, man? I'm going down to bingo to play some bingo. That's got to be the worst Newcastle accent. It kind of just went into Welsh at the last bit. Greetings, one and all. This is Really Works, and welcome to my channel. And I'm here in PlayStation Home. I'm actually in the casino part of PlayStation Home. I do not advocate gambling. I mean, a little flutter, an annual flutter here and there on the Grand National, I suppose, is probably my limit. But I really do not advocate gambling of any kind. It's a mug's game. And that kind of leads on to the question I'm going to ask right about now. And it's all in relation to micro commerce. So please bear with me while I just kind of go around the subject somewhat. Now, the first question is this. I'm in a casino, right? And basically, what happens when you get into the casino is that you get a daily allowance of 100 chips, right? Now, if you lose the chips, if you win the chips, whatever, but whatever is left carries on into the next day. I need someone to answer me this question. Why the hell am I going to take real money and pay for imaginary chips that I stand to lose? It makes no sense to me. Now, please don't get me wrong. You know, I'm all into the micro commerce thing if it's going to make the developers good money to make their games improve with each title that comes out. I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. But as well as it being a good idea, a bad idea, you know, it can be an idea that leads to a whole lot of abuse. Now, my first introduction to micro commerce was with Fight Night Champion, when basically you could just buy the game and buy XP and buy boosts and all that kind of stuff. And that's when all the bullshit basically started with the game, you know. And I think from there, you know, my experience of micro commerce has just been ever present. I mean, you know, with things like avatars and gun packs and map packs and all that kind of stuff, developers kind of just knew it was a no-brainer for them to basically split up the game and have people just, subscribe to buying more and more features of the game. Now, I must admit, you know, I've basically entered into micro commerce in a somewhat minor to moderate way, especially with like Uncharted. I think Uncharted has probably been the only game that I've gotten into micro commerce in a large way, because I think Naughty Dog deserves the money, you know. And with things like avatars and map packs and taunts and things like that, those are the things that makes the game interesting. So I have no problem in paying, I don't know, 79 pence for a taunt, or £1.20 for map packs and things like that. I have no problem with that. But in essence, I kind of bought all of those when I got into the Fortune Hunters Club and paid £20, which kind of made sense, because if you were to buy all the things, you know, at a single price per item, it would cost you more. Obviously, with the Game of the Year edition, it costs considerably less, but that's way after the game's been out for a long time. So, you know, so there's different permutation that can prove a point or even disprove a point. It all depends on the side of the fence you're basically sitting on. But one side of the fence I'm sitting on is the side that says, kiss my ass, I ain't buying that. And it relates to this. Why am I gonna buy 500 chips for 79 pence when I stand to basically lose that money? And I'm in a situation where I do stand to lose. The odds of me losing is pretty much even. 5,000 chips, £3.19. I can get a PlayStation Store game for that amount of money. Amy, which doesn't cost that much. I think it's around £2.50 or something like that. But I can buy a game for that, and that will stay in my hard drive. Why am I going to do that? 15,000 chips, $7.29. I mean, let's go up to 20. 40,000 chips at £12.99. That is a month's worth of internet access for me. But at least I'm able to basically download shit for free or buy something at a cheap rate, having internet access for a month. But if I buy 40,000 chips, I can literally basically just put a bet on and lose all of that within 5-10 minutes. And then my £12.99 has gone down the freaking toilet. That makes no sense to me. That's a level of micro-commerce that I will not subscribe to. Okay, another thing I want to talk about is apps. Now, in the news today, the watchdog Ofcom is basically keeping their eye on game developers who have games on tablets and phones and things like that, because there's been a spate of purchases made by children on iPads and phones that belongs to their parents. Now, to that I say, parents, you're overcompensating your kids a little bit too much if they can basically use your phone and use your iPad, coupled with the fact that they do not have the distinct idea of the value of money. So if they basically play a game and they can basically buy, I don't know, 60,000 donuts at £69.99. And there's no word of a lie. There's a game where you could actually buy virtual donuts for £69.99. I can get a pack of 5 donuts in freaking Co-op for 75 pence. And I can eat those, you dumbass. You know, and you have these parents that's basically saying, well, you know, the game developers should make it basically clearer to us what we're getting ourselves involved in. Well, how can they make it clear to you when your freaking kids has got the freaking iPads to begin with, you dumbass? God, man. Overcompensating parents, you know? And I speak of them as them being a minority because the majority of parents has got enough sense to know, so look, you know what I mean? I'm not letting you near my equipment where you can basically take my credit card details and basically leave me bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are the majority who's of that persuasion and have enough common sense to think that. But there are those who just want to overcompensate their children for the fact of them not basically spending no time with them by giving them their iPad and their phone and whatever device to download games and play games and all that kind of stuff. And then when you look on your bill, you find that you basically owe something like around 250 quid for something you never had no knowledge. And don't think for a second that, you know, with the refunds that Apple's been giving because of that fact, don't think that's going to continue either. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the responsibility is down to you as well. Not only Apple, you know, they're there to make money at the end of the day. If they're selling an iPad to you as a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman, or a grown-ass woman rather, right? It's not their responsibility to keep an eye on where you keep your freaking iPad from day to day. That's your responsibility. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll rest my case.